dough, just sweet and sipping on that scissor.
Ay, oh, big drink, big drink, big drink, big drink, big drink, big drink. Ay.
Hey guys, it's me, Sharmaine. Today's video, as you can see by the title, is going to be talking about my experience at Laurier and also the things that I feel like people should know before coming to Wilfrid Laurier. Just because I have gotten a few messages like over the past 2 years since I posted my first Laurier related vlog from some of you guys who are like going to Laurier next year or in upcoming years, or thinking about going to Laurier, or like thinking about applying to university. So I thought, why not just make a whole video dedicated to that? Just to start, I'm going to talk about my personal experience at Laurier so far. If you guys don't know, let me give a brief introduction. I go to Laurier. I'm just finished my second year at Laurier. I'm in the communications program. If you guys watch my past videos of me discussing like my semester at Laurier, like I think that was first year, I'll put it up here. Basically, I was in the management option before, and that didn't end too well for me. Like, to start, I was like, okay, I got this. Like, this isn't too bad, you know, this is fine. And then when it started getting into like the math courses, it just went downhill for me. So basically, I'll explain. The management option is basically a minor, but it's a bit more than a minor. So I had that because I was like, you know what, let me add that to my communications degree. So I get into the program and I had to do like a basic business class, which I did first semester, which was like a lot of presentations and like pest analysis and like all that kind of stuff, you know? So it's a lot of that, and that was fine. So that class I got done. Second semester, I had accounting and econ. And it was a bit rough. It was very rough. It was very, very rough. Like in both classes, it didn't go well for me at all. To the point where like midway through, I like knew, and I told my mom like, okay, I have to cut this off. Like I can't do this next year because it was just bringing down my overall GPA. And I felt like I was putting in more effort to those classes than my actual major classes, like my communication classes. I was putting way more work into my business option classes rather than a major, which made absolutely no sense because then it was like affecting my marks in those classes and it was just affecting my marks overall. So I was just like, I can't do this, it's not worth it. Like, it's a good thing to have, don't get me wrong, if you're planning on doing it, it is a good thing to have in addition to your major on your degree. But for me, I just felt like the cons were really outweighing the pros. Like, what am I going to do, get a management option and graduate with like a 50 average? Like, you know, it just made no sense. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to stop that. Went into second year, and second year has been way better than first year. And I think what plays a huge role in that was cutting off the management option, because as soon as that was cut off from first semester, my marks went way up. And everybody always says like, oh, you find high school easy, but then when you come to university, it's like a rude awakening. Like, your marks are going to drastically drop. And honestly, I can say that was definitely the case for me. It was a rude awakening, and it didn't really help with having the management option, because that really just added a lot of stress. It was a lot to balance at once for me. So like, it was just a really bad combination first year. But like, the thing with first year is you get to learn from all of your mistakes and the stuff that you go through, like all the study habits that you figure out that you need to learn, and like balancing your schedule and all that stuff. That's another reason why I feel like my marks really went up second year. I'm trying to like keep this kind of somewhat organized. So first, I'm just talking about academics. Some of this may not pertain to all of you guys because I'm only coming from the perspective of my program and the classes I've taken. If you're going to like health science or something, I don't really know much about like that program and that field, that faculty. I did my major courses, and I've taken electives that like have to do with basically every subject. Like, I feel like all my electives are kind of like scattered everywhere. Like, I've taken geography courses, I've taken entrepreneurship courses, I've taken religion courses, I've taken digital whatever courses, even a music class. One time I did a music elective, was a big mistake. I feel like I talked about that in a previous video before, but that elective was a huge mistake. And that's one thing I'll say for the advice for picking your classes. Make sure you do your research before you pick electives, because there's a lot of electives that you might think by the title and the description like, oh, this is going to be like an easy bird course, it's going to be good, blah 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 blah. No, most of them aren't. So like that music course I really thought was going to be an easy one. I was like, oh, it was history of rock and roll music. I was like, oh, that's light, I can do that, blah blah blah. Me and my friend Jaden both took that. It was so bad. Like, that class was really bad. At one point we were like, should we just drop it? When we realized that we should have probably dropped it, it was way too late. We just stuck it out and did terrible in the class. But you know what? You learn from that, because after that I learned to do my proper research on electives and not just guess what I think is going to be an easy course, because that didn't work out. For Laurier, I would say some good electives would be some religion courses. A lot of religion classes first year are definitely mark boosters, especially if you take them online. I would say UU courses are definitely a known bird course. So like UU 101, UU 150, all those kind of courses. Leadership courses like the OLs, those courses are definitely mark boosters. Next thing I want to mention is the social life aspect. So I get a lot of questions about, oh my god, literally like 2 people ask me. I'm like, I get a lot of questions. So basically all of you guys have been begging me to talk about, no, I'm kidding. Well, the few messages I have gotten, people have definitely asked me a lot about like making friends at Laurier and what that's all like. I personally feel like I had a pretty easy time making friends. I lived in res. I lived in the Regina res, so that's 260 Regina. I don't live there anymore, so I feel fine saying the address. That was probably the best res you could get as far as like the living state. So like in my apartment, we all had our own rooms, our own washrooms, just a shared kitchen and a shared living room. So it was pretty easy. Like, I know if you're living in like any of the ones where you're sharing bathrooms, that one could be like, so I didn't really have to deal with that until like now I live off campus, like in an apartment, and I'm sharing a washroom, which is fine because it's not like with 10 million people. They definitely make making friends easy for you at Laurier, because as soon as you get there, you have like your O week leaders. They put you all in a group, your color group. Like, that's what we did for O week. So I was on the yellow team. They do little fun games and activities. I'm not gonna lie, a lot of that stuff most people didn't go for like learning your cheers and like other little activities like that. I didn't really attend all of those because it just seemed kind of like, you know, well, But I mean, a lot of people did, and I know there's definitely people who probably made friends there. But personally, I didn't attend all of those stuff, but I did attend like the main stuff. So like we had a pep rally type thing. I remember that was a competition of like the spirit of each color. I went to that and that was fun. They did headphone disco, which was really fun, which was basically put on these headphones and you have music playing in your headphones and everybody has different stations they're listening to. It's really fun. I also forgot, guys, that we had a NAV concert, so that was fun too. Some of the friends I made were just made through like coincidence, so it was kind of just like we just kept seeing each other because we lived in the same res. So when you start running into people like in your res, or you just kind of start talking to them, and that's how I became friends with like some of the people that I'm really close to now. Living on res is definitely a big factor in making friends. I feel like living on res just makes it so much easier because you kind of just connect with the people who are on your floor. I didn't really connect with the people on my floor, but I definitely connected with people in my building. So you will definitely connect with somebody who is in your res, whether it's people on your floor or other people or people you're living with. Like, you'll definitely make friends on res. If you're living off campus and you're going to Laurier, maybe, if I know it's kind of like a stretch, and most people, even I, if I lived in the area, I definitely would not live on res. Like, my mom would be like, what are you doing? But like, if you can't afford to do that, maybe look into living on res just for the first year, just because that is a different kind of experience. And the people I talk to who like commute to school, it just doesn't seem like the same experience at all versus like living on campus, like away from your family, like literally living on your own. It's just a different kind of experience. And like living with people, you don't have to like be roommates with them, but just like being able to like go to their room or their apartment anytime, like, oh, it's like 3, let me just text, like, oh, let me come downstairs and see you guys, like, oh, let me like walk down the street to go see my friends. It's just a different bonding experience that I feel like is very unique and very beneficial. Like, I feel like I've grown a lot in the last 2 years just from getting the opportunity to like live by myself. As far as roommates go, I know a lot of people have like roommate horror stories. I didn't have any of that. I did live with my Dawn first year, which was a weird experience, and I've definitely spoken about that before, but that was weird. Most people are like used to dealing with their Dawn on their floor, but like to live with your Dawn, like my Dawn was my roommate, so that was kind of like I had 2 different Dawns throughout the first year, and like both of them were pretty cool. Like neither of them were like really strict about rules or anything like that, so that was fine. As for Laurier, I would say it's a pretty diverse school. If you want to compare Laurier to other Ontario schools, like other schools that aren't in the GTA, because those schools are like obviously the most diverse because it's the GTA and that's like the most diverse area in all of Ontario. If you're comparing it to other universities like Western, Carleton, Ottawa, Mac, or Guelph, whatever, it is definitely one of the more diverse schools. Like, I know friends that go to other schools and they're like, it is like, no diversity, all Caucasian. No problem, all Caucasian. Actually, there's a problem, all Caucasians. I'm not even gonna try to be like, no problem. Like, there's a problem because nobody wants to go to a school where they feel like they're not represented or like they don't have anybody that they can relate to. And that was kind of something I was worried about going to Laurier, because like when I went for the open house and tours, it was pretty Caucasian. Like, I was kind of scared. Like, I was like, okay, it's just looking very flavorless, very, you know, bland. But as I got to the school and I got to meet more people, I realized like, oh, there's actually a lot of other people. Like, you might not see them off the bat, but like kind of over time, all the black people just find the black people. I don't know, I feel like it was pretty easy to just find other black people. Also at my school, there's like an association of black students, which if you're coming to Laurier, I am in the association of black students. I've actually met some people who have watched my videos like through ABS. Like, there's been a couple girls who I've met who have been like, oh my god, I've seen your move-in vlog, or like I watched your Laurier vlog before coming to Laurier. So like, that's really cool. So if you guys are watching this and you're coming to Laurier next year, come join ABS. Like, we're very welcoming. If you're looking to meet people who are like of color, or like who can relate to you on some sort of level that you feel like you can't find through other students at the school, ABS is the perfect place for you, because I feel like ABS is another place where I got to really meet people. Like, until ABS, I didn't know other Nigerian people at Laurier. I didn't know that many black people at Laurier. Like, ABS really introduced me to a lot of people. I would definitely recommend it. If you're coming to Laurier, definitely join. Overall, I will say that Laurier is like the perfect balance for somebody who's looking to like leave and like step out of their comfort zone, but also not too much. Like, I feel like that's why I chose it, because it was like I wanted to leave home and I wanted to experience something new, but I also didn't want to be too far away from home, and I didn't want to live in like a huge campus where I'd be like lost all the time. Laurier was the perfect balance, because it's like, what, an hour and 15 minutes away from my house, and the campus is like pretty small in comparison to other schools, so it didn't take long to figure out where everything was, you know. Last thing I'm going to touch on, I know Laurier has a reputation of being like a party school, which it does definitely live up to that. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, it definitely does. Like, I had a lot of fun first year. So like, if you're looking for a school that's definitely gonna have like that social aspect where you're gonna get to experience that full college life, Laurier is definitely the place for you. But that's about it. That's all I can really think of to touch on for this video. If you guys do want to see a more detailed video about specifically my program, like communications, let me know in the comments and I will do a video on that, or any other types of videos you want me to film regarding college life, because now I'm in quarantine and I'm done my semester. I have a lot of time to be filming videos for you guys, so let me know what else you guys want to see. But that's it. I really hope at least some of this was helpful for you guys and you guys are able to take something away from it. Also, if you have any further questions, I can answer you guys down below in the comments, or feel free to DM me. I always respond to my DMs. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on your post notification bell, and make sure to follow me on all my social medias, my Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, everything. And I'll see you guys in the next video.